All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. It's hard to read backwards. 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 6th show of the Real Estate Social Rockstars. Today, we are going to be talking about something so appropriate. We're going to be talking about how to communicate with millennials. And the crazy thing is, I don't know how this happened, the world is aligning, but the guest that we have on this show, I'm just going to introduce her because she's amazing. You need to know who she is. We have Suzanne Nguyen on the show. Some of you know her as String Story. Thank you so much for coming on this show and joining us. I am looking forward to not only sharing, but learning a ton. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me in the past. I haven't been to America yet. So I'm glad I'm in America somehow, somewhere, in some time.
Yeah. So tell everybody, where are you from, and tell us a little bit about yourself, because I know you're a rock star, but I want everyone else to know how much of a rock star you are.
First, thank you for inviting me to be part of this show. I'm from Australia. I think it's like 18 hours ahead of New York City or San Francisco. People don't like it when I call it San Fran, but who cares? Anyway, I'm a curious geek. Yeah, pretty much. I'm a big fan of Snapchat. I think a lot of you people follow me on Snapchat. I'm a millennial marketer, and I help business figure out what Snapchat is, Instagram stories. I just help make business understand what millennials are thinking.
I don't even know if it's appropriate to go here, but the first snap that I saw, you were doing like a snap story. I know I texted you about this the other day. It was like, it was about like inappropriate pics or like something very, very crazy. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course, because that's like one of the topics that everyone was like went over. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe you went there. But
yes, you did go there.
Some context, being online and being public, I do get a lot of eggplants. By the way, tangent for it, I'm allergic to eggplant. Like for real, when I eat that shit, I get an allergic reaction.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, as a female online, I do get a lot of like unsolicited messages. So like, I just be open about it, because why hide the fact about it? And a lot of women come out and reach out and ask me, like, how do you deal with it? And first rule, just don't open any snaps or messages that have a blank on their Snapchat. Done deal. That's because that's a massive red flag already there.
So without getting into explicit detail about that story, and then we'll jump in with an intro here, but so just to give people an idea. So I go on to String Story. I don't know who String Story is, but somehow I'm like following her on Snap, and I'm watching, and she's talking about inappropriate pictures, and in her analysis of these pictures was very high level analysis that I was confused. Like, I didn't know if I had just done drugs before I got onto Snap, because I'm hearing this super intelligent, hyper analytic, Harvard type talk, and it's about inappropriate pictures. And so I was like, I don't know who this is. I was confused. Anyways, that was my introduction to you. I wanted you to answer a few questions and educate real estate agents out there how they could market to millennials, and even putting that on the side, maybe they can't even market to millennials. So my first question to you is, what do you think is a millennial mindset?
I'm glad that you said millennial mindset, because millennial itself is like known as a generation gap between 18 to 35. But millennial mindset is more about, certain people with more they're more aware, more conscious about their health, society, political awareness. They're more environmentally friendly, and they want to do more. And I'm like, also just letting you know that also they're also driven to succeed. So expect them to study less in universities and seeing they set up their own business. But we're also digital natives, so we love technology. Like, look, I can't live without this. literally. You've probably seen me snapping or talking to people and connecting with people. My business is like, as long as I'm over the internet, I could do anything. That's the millennial mindset. By the way, tangent story. I met a 45-year-old. She's more millennial than I am, just letting you know. So it's not all about like the age group, it's all about here.
First of all, so just to give everybody, a clue in, we did not speak, outside of Snap and all that till 5 minutes before we clicked on live, right? And so we had literally like a few sentences of exchange that I think are worthy of repeating, where I said to you that don't hold back from your opinion on things when it comes down to real estate agents and the real estate industry and millennials. Like, don't worry about who our audience is. I just want you to keep it real. If you think that, millennials don't give a crap about real estate, let's just say they don't give a crap about real estate, whatever it is, because I want to keep it real. And I don't think any agent out there is going to really improve their business in a real way if they don't know the reality of the landscape and the mindset of the consumer that they're dealing with. And if their consumer doesn't care about real estate, they should know that, even if they're going to try to sell them something. So, and then you said to me, what did your response to me was what?
That's very millennial of you.
I felt really good about that, so I just wanted to repeat it.
Yeah, because when you think about it, we could spot, we had the biggest bullshit detectors ever. Like we could spot like when you try to sell to us, you could spot us like when you try to upsell to us, we could spot you trying to scam us, because we live in an age of technology. So if we didn't want to know shit, we just go Google it, YouTube it. Like that's our university right there. So, if you want to reach to them, just be authentic, be real, like don't bullshit with them. Just tell them they're smart enough to understand that most of us won't own a home, but it doesn't mean that we don't want to own a home. So it's becoming, it's becoming harder and harder for us to own a house right now because it's more expensive. If you're a baby boomer and you bought a house and you like compare the scales in terms of economics, it's easier to buy a house then than it is now.
Gotcha. So you're thinking that millennials they still might be interested in owning a home. So first of all, why does a millennial want to own a home, not rent? I'd love to hear your thoughts on like why they like Airbnb, because that's popular. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, when you think about it, we're our own parents' kids. Our parents has a house or like desire to have an asset. We've been taught to think about in terms of like if you have a house, you're successful. It's just that now the threshold is a lot higher now. So our differences in terms of thinking in terms of success is different right now. And in Airbnb, I love that shit. It's pretty good, isn't it? You don't need to go hotels and you feel like you're in a home and there's less hassles. The only hassles is like exchanging keys and information about that. But other than that, once that's gone through, like you just settle in and become part of like the local scene. And that's probably one of the good things about Airbnb.
So just a question that comes to mind when you said that. First of all, you're saying that you like Airbnb for certain reasons. I look at other type of businesses, somewhat related to real estate, like WeWork. Have you ever heard of WeWork?
Yeah, it's a massive community co-working space, but it also opened up housing as well because they accommodate people who are digital nomads as well, or travelers, people who just want, or startups. So I understand co-working spaces as well.
Yeah, and it's becoming huge now, and it's it's people like that. So one of the things that I appreciate about, I just use WeWork as an example, is that there seems to be like a community that you get to plug in somehow. And like even when people are doing Airbnb, when one person does Airbnb and they talk to someone else that did Airbnb, there's somewhat of a connection you make because you both went through Airbnb to stay at some stranger's house for the night. I'd love to know, is there something that's going on in that space? Like, what is it that's attracting people there? Why do millennials love that? I feel like there's something there. Community, maybe. I don't know. What is it?
Because it's human. We want to connect. It's very basic. I know, very basic. But even now, like the 22 people here, I betcha they're connected through you, Michael. You build a community around yourself. but you like doesn't mean that someone else. You're all connected through the idea of wanting to know about technology. You want to connect because you're likely in this very group. There's a lot of like high potential, influences in this space. So I bet like they're here for a reason. Like, why would people waste their time otherwise? If anything, and just going back to basic again, it's because we're connected. Like, we all have a desire to connect and meet authentic people who just like provide new insights and provide new value.
So I hear you, and I don't know. I think maybe we can expand on this a little bit, because I think it's a really a deep, big idea. Because if I think of the older generation or older mindset, think of the older mindset, a previous mindset. You would go to a hotel. You would maybe go to a hotel because you like the aesthetic of the brand of the hotel, or the sheets, or the service, or something. You didn't really think about, my friends go to that hotel or that chain. It was just more of an aesthetic thing. While I feel like it's weird if I talk to like my parents, right? Or I talk to other people and you talk about millennials, they're like, oh, all they do is stare at their phone all day. They don't like form relationships. They don't like talk to people. They're always on the phone. And I feel like it's the opposite. They care more. They just know they can build more and interact more. And like me and you have had text messages that are kind of like deep that you wouldn't have if you just were calling people a couple of times. So I'd love to know, like, do you feel that same way? Like, there's something here.
There are two things that like probably like digital immigrants are baby boomers, digital natives are like millennials. If anything, I do feel like we're more connected and we're more willing to. I think what's the difference is at the end of the day, millennials, whatever it is, millennial mindsets, whatever, we appreciate time more than you think. So we want to like grow exponentially fast in the most effective way. And people say we have a short attention span. I don't think so. It's just that we know that that's not worth our time. So we will like quickly know something is like, oh, no, I already know that. So they move on quickly to find something that's like, we're a bit like magpies in many ways. We like the new shiny things, but we know what a good shiny thing is and we hold it. So it's not like we don't appreciate good shit. Like, we are more brand whore than other people. We love t-shirts. When you think about it, it's all about the brand culture, not the quality of it, not the anything like that. It's the story behind it. So if anything, it's not about the what. It's about why it is made. Why, it's been why this brand is here existing today, and how it fits into our lifestyle as well. And in terms of like communication. Like, I'm based in Australia. I'm talking to you guys right now. What does that say about technology and communication and connection right now?
It's fantastic. It's also I feel, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe something's wrong with me, but I feel
Jesus. Go crazy, man.
I feel less lonely with technology. I feel like we have a genuine connection, relationship, getting to know one another. And in the past, I always have friends and I've always had friends, but like, I know I get to now pick and choose a lot easier who I spend my time with. I'm not defined or limited by the people that just live in my neighborhood necessarily. I now have the ability to form better relationships with people everywhere and learn from people everywhere. So I get to find people like you where I don't know anyone like you. I mean, there probably is no one in the universe like you, but I don't know anyone at all like you that lives near me at all. I wish I did. I'd be friends with them. I don't, but I don't get to miss out in life because I get to connect with you in this way. So and the millennial mindset of looking at my phone gets me to you. It's not like looking at my phone takes me away from a relationship. It puts me into a relationship, actually.
I had to jump in. I think it's because we're so far away. You come to me for a specific question or specific conversation. And I like those things where people just value my time. I value yours. You came to me a relevant question and it's like for the next 5 minutes, we just go bam, 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 bam. And that's what we do. It's like bam, 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 bam. And it's like, oh, I learned something new today. And it's like, yes, that was awesome. And I'd
Yeah.
rather have those exchange and like hang out with people that sparkle than hang out with like, oh, I didn't learn anything from you. I felt like I just wasted my time. Like, like just like give me like every time I exchange someone who's smarter than I am or providing you insight, if anything, it makes me a better person. It makes me a better like teacher as well. Like my Snapchat, even though I share information, the conversation on the side that I have, the messages that I have, they're more intense than my own. And I wish I could share all my conversations because they make me better. It's like, oh, you just gave me some really cool ideas. I'm not saying I didn't give credit due, but my community has become my network of information. And that's what I really like. It's like I'm building an intense network of high impact individuals on high level scales and high level thinking that I'm like, yes, I love waking up every day and talking to new people.
Yeah. And sometimes you're going to sleep when I'm waking up and I'm waking up when you're going to sleep. And
yeah, it's a thing. It's like a New York thing, you know, like you guys like you sleep and I just like go to sleep and it's like you wake and I'm asleep. So we have to fix that. One day we have to fix that.
So here's a question for you, getting down to some specifics for real estate agents. You know, let's say you're a real estate agent and you're in an area where there are a lot of millennials, and I mean, everywhere in the world there is, but do you have any advice for stuff that they can do to build relationships with the millennials, to attract them? Any advice that you would give a real estate agent?
Be where they are at the moment. You have to connect with them and tap into their networks. Because like you said, if you tap into the right doors or right connections, it opens up a bigger like community as well. Everyone has their own community. And that's probably why a lot of people say influencers, because within each circle of networks, there's always someone with a stronger network or stronger connection. So the most effective way is connecting with the right people who would open the door to the other millennials. But saying that, like, if you have to, like, okay, I don't know the right people, then just start with the basics. You need a website. You need to make it like mobile, dynamic. You also need to have Facebook. And probably the cheapest way to do things is to set up like Google, like set up your Google networks. So then like your Google Analytics or whatever, or your Google, when you search something, your name pops up. Just basic stuff like that, because digital natives appreciate good information, and they always Google stuff. And I have to say, shout out to Azrael, who gave me all this information at the moment, because I just listened to his video, 20-minute video on like how to like set up effective online marketing for real estate. I just had, even before, before I was like listening to you, and it's like, oh, I better like listen to him because I think it would like help with this one, because he gave such an actual tips on how to like set up online marketing.
Who is this? What are we talking about?
Azrael, I'll like later on I will like put his Facebook or video onto the feed. But he gave a 20-minute conversation on effective marketing that anyone could implement. Like anyone. Like even I was thinking about it. Oh, if you paste real estate, I bet you could put chocolate shop, brick and mortar, anyone. But he gave a really effective like 20-minute conversation on how to like do an online marketing for real estate. Just even like that, doing that would effectively boost you up already and help you connect and build up the foundation that you need to require to like reach out millennial.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this. When you're out there and you're putting a lot of content online, and you put some serious high-level content online, and you know, specifically on Snapchat, and you're sharing it over there, are there certain type of things that you're sharing that you get more views on, more likes on, more, you know, I'd love to learn a little bit from the feedback that you're getting from your audience, because you have a pretty large audience.
Well, probably true. How to make money and how to grow my channel, or how to gain audience. Those are the most two often questions. There's like every time someone comes or want to set up a channel, they're always like, how do you make money on Snapchat? Or how do you, by the way, I do make money on Snapchat. And and how do you like grow your channel? So, you know, because I think if you could grow within Snapchat, then you're winning already compared to like Instagram stories or Instagram, because the audience that you connect with on Snapchat is more willing to have a conversation with you and high impact conversation with you than you will have on like Twitter maybe, or even on Instagram as well. Because Instagram is all about gamifying it, like, you know, pretend comments, follow, fake follows, and then they unfollow you. Whereas on Snapchat, they're there for a reason. So make the most of it. If you only have like 5 people, those 5 people could potentially lead you to something more.
So, question for you, a couple of questions. Number one, how do you make money on Snapchat? Number one. And number two is, you know, I'm curious, before Snap, you know, before you got very into Snap, which I'd be curious to know when you got into Snap, you know, I'd love to learn just a little bit about kind of what you did beforehand, and how, you know, how did you become, you know, this amazing millennial expert that you are?
Well, I think one of the things that I do really well is someone chucking me a really complex situation, like for example, blockchain. No one knows what blockchain is, by the way, except for me. I bet you in this space. But it's complicated. But what I do is, like, people are sending me really complex information. I process it and then I turn it into really accessible information, and probably do it in an interesting way, because then people tune in. And it's like, I will never download that. But the only reason why I download that is because you made me curious about it. So what I do is like make information accessible. The other thing that I did beforehand, before I went on pre-Snapchat days, was that I went on Meerkat, which is equivalent to Periscope, if you don't know it, which is like a video live streaming for your phone, and like gained like 44,000 followers. But then I, like, after 6 months, I ditched it because like the followers, like the viewership, like I know when to ditch it. Like I know what's the next trend, because like I see dots and stuff like that. But I had to ditch it because like it didn't have the same growth momentum, and I forgot to like turn them over quickly, in terms of like pushing them onto a different site, so then they could be my audience. So I had to start over on Snapchat. But everything that I learned on Meerkat, on storytelling, on you know, what technology is, I just bring it over onto Snapchat. And so Meerkat for me was like a massive learning curve. Whereas Snapchat, how do I make money? Probably the easiest way is to be an expert at it. Because at the moment, no one knows how to monetize on Snapchat. Like, I could probably monetize on YouTube quite easily, but I chose to go on Snapchat because there is more opportunities there than there is on YouTube. It's oversaturated, YouTube. Snapchat, like, very few people know how to monetize. And if I know how to monetize, I could sell the information. There you go. Like, you know, if I just like set up an ebook, I'm like, oh, I'll sell it for $150 because I saved you guys time. It took me 6 months, what would take a person a year or maybe never reach that level, but I will save you time, and they're all actionable tips as well.
So are you using Snapchat to drive your audience to your book sales?
Yeah, I have been doing that as like a testing ground. I have, but what I wanted to do was also, I use my Snapchat as like also market test ideas and narratives. And I have like a few multiple, I did an epic game plan where I share all my roadmap for the next year. And people loved it. Like, but the cool thing is, like, I told them, it's like, oh, I go set up a shout out channel to help with discovery. And then if people want to jump the queue, they have to pay for it. But what I do was like make sure that you have an awesome intro video, so then you have high conversions as well. And I already did 2, and already have, let's see, like this person who has less than 30, he's got 100 followers. Just like high quality followers. Remember that. They're high quality followers. And on Shout Out Sunday, I had like 500 screenshots.
Wow.
Dude, people don't even have 500 screenshots if they're a small number. But
Yeah.
I have a really high engaged audience because I train my people. Like, let's have fun. And they know what I'm doing. And they're really happy that I got sponsors on board. They're really happy that I'm having success. So they're just watching me grow. So like I have a social accountability to grow even bigger. So because like there's this high expectation now, and it freaks the shit out of me, by the way. Where people have, like, even you're like projecting, it's like, you're amazing. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just like, I just want to have fun.
You captivate my attention. I don't know. You take like learning stuff and you almost like make it for like the learning disabled, because you make it fun and easy, like all the little books like they make for kids that have trouble in school to, like, you know, pick up on things or whatever. your stuff is very digestible. So if anybody's watching or listening to this later, and you might be listening to this in a variety of places, you need to go check her out, because you'll understand when you start seeing what string does. You'll be impressed with it, and then you're going to want to watch this again, because you'll want to understand what the mindset is and her understanding of it. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I should have said that at the beginning. But yeah, you are awesome, because I mean, you must spend a lot of time creating the content that you create, because it's very organized the way you do things. I mean, you spend a lot of time playing with everything on the screen too. So you invest a lot in your content.
There's a trick to it.
Format. Oh, what is it? I'm listening.
Format. I go like format.
Format.
There's a tip. Format. Like, remember, like, my shows are like TV shows. They're like tiny, tiny little TV shows where I have to like show up, but there's a format to it.
So explain that to me a little bit, and maybe explain it not only in the way that your format is, but let's say a real estate agent wants to share with the consumer, wants to share with the millennial information. The millennial may or may not be looking to buy a home today. If you're only talking to people looking to buy a home today, your audience is never going to want to listen to you, because only some people are looking to buy a home all the time. So you maybe want to be talking about other things like neighborhood things or whatever.
Yeah. It's what I think is that if you're like a real estate agent and they're coming to you, people shop, right? People don't buy houses straight away. So they're always investigating, like, is this place the best neighborhood? Then share the information in terms of a really digestible analysis way. For example, like, I might be wrong about New York City. Let's call it Mars. Mars is far away from Earth because it has this average temperature. There's schools around it. Like, its neighbors is this place. Like, people could go eat around here. It's inappropriate for humans. I don't know, like something along those lines. But the fact is, if you can provide high value impact for anyone to like come into it, not even millennials, like just anyone who interested in knowing that neighborhood, and you become that go-to person, then people will just come naturally to you to learn about stuff. And then what happens is you build up these relationships where you move this conversation outside Snapchat. The trick for you guys is building up a really quick relationship and pushing them onto a platform where you could like have long-term relationship. Because real estate agents is not about, like, you probably have long life relationships with certain clients, and you rather have those long life relationships with those clients that have probably high turnovers. So if anything, the trick is, how do I connect with Henrys?
What is a Henry?
Henry is, slideshow, please. High earners, not rich yet. Different from millennials, different from baby boomers. It means like these are like incredibly hard workers, incredibly high earners, probably going to be like where they just know how to like effectively gain information, automate it, and they probably won't even party because they're just making shitloads of money. Like, how do you get connected with these guys? I don't even know. I just found this concept recently, but even I'm intrigued. And like, am I going to be a potential Henry? That's my mindset right now. It's like, am I going to be a Henry? Because I love to do that, because then I can look after my family, my mum, and like my brothers, and they're just going to work for me if I have to. It's like I already asked my brother to be my business development person, because I'm shit with money, but doesn't mean that I don't know how to make money.
So a Henry is a high earners that are not rich yet, right?
Yeah.
So high earners, not rich yet. So that means they're making money, but they're not rich. Can you explain that again? I'm not sure I got that.
Well, like, the thing is, like, these people are potentially on their way to make that kind of money that everyone wish for, whether it be $1 million nest egg or $1 billion. These like people are the kind of people that probably like make money while they sleep. Like, I think passive income has always been around, but they're probably doing it in a way that's a lot more efficient than like our previous generation, because we have the technology and the skills and so many emerging technology. Think about it. There's the blockchain, biotech, where we go live younger and go eat more effectively. There's also in battery life, solar power. Think of all these like emerging technologies, even like driverless cars. Think about that. Maybe we don't even have mobiles anymore. Like, there's something going on in the next 10 to 15 years that's like going to move us move on to another generation entirely, like move us into like a next level technology. The internet is not going to even exist because there's something even better than the internet.
Yeah. It's I wonder if it's more interesting or more important to talk about why real estate agents should have a millennial mindset, or whether they should just be thinking about their clients having a millennial mindset. But like, I'll give you an example of a millennial mindset of a Henry that I know, my brother, super smart kid. He's in Harvard. He's won Google Science Fair awards and all this kind of stuff. And we were talking the other day about what he wants to do when he grows up, when he finishes college or whatever. And he's very into science and technology. And so, people we were talking with, somebody said to him, so do you want to work in the lab? Like, do you want to develop a cure to something? What do you want to do? Because he's doing high level things like this. And he's like, well, I think that I'd be really good, because I'm connected with the labs. I know when they're about to develop a cure for something, that I could just be there when I knew a cure is developed, and I could focus on bringing it to market. So I can constantly do that. Take something, anybody can do it, but I hear about it first, I bring it to market. And I go to the next one and bring it to market.
I already know what he's doing there, and I'm like, I love it. And he's like, your brother's insane. He's Jesus for the medicine world.
Yeah, I need to connect you guys actually, but you should talk to him. But because he's it'd be good to see you guys.
See what I just did there, guys? This is like connection. He just opened the door for me to meet another Henry. And that's what. Yeah, he did. He's going to like have access to me now. It's like, oh shit, what have I done? Well, you just have to be like more in tune online. Like, remember the word digital immigrant? Like, baby boomers, like just found like you. I bet you probably read newspapers traditionally. You don't consume information like a millennial. The first easy step is just to find a millennial that you can connect with. Because to tell you the truth, I still learn a lot from boomers. Like they tell me like their mistakes, and I just make it like not make it better, but I want to learn from those mistakes. Because effectively, everyone in terms of the entrepreneur's life set or like the pathway, it's kind of similar the same. Like there's a certain mindset that everyone reaches in terms of like becoming a successful business person. So if anything, there's a lot to say in just developing like great mentor relationship, or just like have a good or connect with millennials and say, I'd like to have a conversation with you about the future of housing. Just have that conversation with them. It's like, do you want to have a house? So like, why don't you want to have a house? Because I think at the moment, the current pattern that I'm seeing with terms of housing, this is just me seeing the dots at the moment, shared housing, because we don't want to live far away. We don't like traveling far away. We prefer to stay locally if we can. And we probably pay, just share houses or like with someone else in the same level or same community, and pay for and make rent cheaper, or staying in like a community or co-working spaces. So effectively you'll be like, maybe like there's a segment of your business that you just look after share housing or renting out houses and stuff like that. Because technically many of us won't, most millennials might not even own a house in their lifetime. Just remember that. Like, be realistic here. You need like multiple incomes or 2 or 3 incomes now just to buy one house. Not even locally. We prefer to be closer to our work, because for us, culture and life is really important. Like, we like to go out. We like to stay connected with our friends. We like good shit. But we also understand that like for us to have good shit, that means like we go eat out on our like savings and everything like that. So there's like, do we save? If we want to save, then it's almost cheaper to like become a digital nomad and live in Thailand and work remotely.
So I'm listening to what you're saying, right? And to be honest, there's some real estate agents out there that might be listening to this and might get a little freaked out about this, because you're basically saying that millennials may have less of an interest or they don't have the ability to buy. But so my question to you is, first of all, do you think there's going to be less transactions that take place because of that? Or it's just there are more people in the world, so a smaller percentage of those people are buying homes?
There's more people in the world. I feel like the second one makes more sense. Um,
Okay, agents, you don't have to worry.
yeah, but, you know, but you have to. But it seems like there's more real estate agents out there, and you're like pushing each other down. I don't know if that's the case,
No,
but everyone.
it is the case. It is the case. The market's good right now across the country pretty much. And when the market is good, everybody jumps into real estate regardless of, regardless of their skill or their dedication. And then when the market gets tough, most leave and then the good ones, continue to stay. So yeah, it's kind of the nature of a little bit of an oddity of our business. But something that I think might be a good takeaway for real estate agents is that understanding millennials seem to like disruption. They get excited about it, right? I mean, the word disruption is a I don't know, is a big term, right?
I call it decentralizing, not disruption.
Okay, decentralizing.
It means like everyone has fair access to everything, just like the internet. Did you know that that big businesses want to have monopoly of information? But then like everyone got like, no, you can't do that because I want access to television or like my internet and watch like good YouTube. Don't like destroy my my Game of Thrones because I hate you if you like don't let me download my Game of Thrones. Something like, I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like it is, because you know why? Because that's what's happening effectively. Like taxi industry, think of like Uber and taxi industry. Think of what else is another one that's getting disrupted? Airbnb and hotels, but Airbnb is like also affecting like how real estate agents as well, because house owners have control. There's no middleman. Like pretty much what's happening now is like middlemans are going. That means you guys have to learn develop new or interesting ways of like approaching things now. And I think the easiest way is just to learn to code. Truly, I don't code, but even I recognize that I have to learn to code if I want to
What does
like
that
go
mean
into.
to learn to code? Keep it real. I honestly, what do you?
Yeah, that's code. That's good that you say that, because I feel like everyone knows my language, but not everyone does. Coding means it's like, you know what, you like creating your own basic website and there's like HTML, or like creating apps. Like even having a basic understanding of that will make you go on top of the heap if you need to. You already effectively have like skill sets that are more relevant today than it was before.
But if you're constantly evolving and you're staying in tune and in touch with what the millennials are liking, what they're doing, staying in touch, don't be afraid of different websites that are doing things. Figure out what the juice is, what's working there. Real estate agents are, by definition, they're all entrepreneurs. They all work for themselves. They all they're independent contractors. They all have the ability to do whatever they want. I think that if they learn and connect with the millennial mindset, their business will grow because they just will naturally gravitate to those areas which are growing. It's hard to say. I almost feel like it's philosophy, but
yeah, like I don't. This sounds like, I don't know what the word is, but people recognize like-minded people. So if you have a millennial mindset, you will naturally attract millennials.
yeah, that sounded better than what I said.
No, I just said it like I listened to you. That's what I say. Like I listened to you, and then I just made it into one, like a Twitter version of it.
One more thing. Somebody mentioned something here that I just want to bring up, and then we can wrap this up. But I wanted to respond to him because I think it's good. He said, "Isn't there a value in not knowing everything instantly? Aren't millennials losing the ability to memorize, etc.? Just curious."
I have really good memory retention. I forget people's names, but if you tell me like your shtick and your everything, it's like, oh, you're the guy that has a wife that like did this, but you love fried chicken. Oh, that's my story. Sorry. But no, because I remember like not telling, when I told my game plan, I gained a whole lot of people that love to see me go. Think of it that way. Like even if I like, even if I'm like really transparent and telling you my game plan, not many people can implement it. Not bragging or anything like that. I give you information. Like I'm willing to give you information, but it's up to you to implement it. And that's like probably what I realize is like, maybe like just being like, you know, like, this is my game plan, this is the path that I'm going. You could come along and make it more super effective. If you make it more super effective, I'm so happy for you, because what you did was like make my shit better than I did. And I'm willing to have that experience, because I'd rather people succeed and do better than I am, because I became a catalyst to something. That's the kind of like my life set. It's like, you know, if I attract good shit and attract good energy, it just goes back into the universe, because there's already like bad crap around already. Why do I need to contribute to something that I don't have control of? So the only control that I have is like putting out good stuff. That's my quality of control of life. And if you do the same thing and if you have a certain high standard of like, you know, I'm just going to be like, you know, willing to like, set high standards, people will just come to you because they have like that dependence as well. That's still old school. Knowing that like you are really dependable, that you are willing to like answer our needs, that's still basic human stuff. Like that's still business things. Like people still appreciate good business ethics.
I really think a highlight of this show is the last few seconds where you just said that you put good things out there, high level, good shit out there, and there's enough bad stuff out there, and you believe by putting out good stuff, like, you know, you're okay helping other people succeed. You know, it's like that to me is also kind of like a millennial mindset. Like millennials don't hate other people that succeed. Maybe they want to do it too, but
well, the ones who I find that are hating is just because they're projecting their own desires to do something. For me, when I see someone hating other people, it's like, oh, you're stuck. Like, let me help you out. But sometimes they just need to like have opportunities present the way, but they don't have the right mindset, so they're not ready yet. Like even if sometimes I give I'm happy to give away advice, like literally, but they're not ready to take it. So it's like, okay, I've got to step back. Mm-hmm. I just gave you 10K information there, but it's okay. And they will come back to me later on, because they're not like, sometimes giving them information then doesn't come back to them maybe like a month's time, a year's time, but it's like, oh, it makes them more sense now. It just like their journey is not ready yet. I realize like it's all about, that's why I said mindset is more important than the stereotypes, because we all have this mindset, baby boomers, millennials, younger generations, like everyone has this mindset. Like there's a particular mindset that we all appreciate.
Luckily enough, I just got that quote on Snap, so perfect. And it is all about mindset. So listen, I want to thank you so much for having this chat and giving people an eye view into the mindset of a millennial. Unless there's something else that you wanted to kind of throw out there or anything, I just wanted to say thank you and ask you to let people know how they can connect with you.
Yeah, that's my like Snap code. If you really want to connect with me, if you really want to talk to me, I'm always on there on Mondays and Tuesdays usually. I try not to be there on every day now. Talk to me on Snapchat.
So you try not to be there every day, so twice a week. So for people that are listening to this right now and not seeing your information on screen, can you just say out loud how people should contact you?
Snapchat, but only on Mondays and Tuesdays, my time.
Monday and Tuesdays, your time. You're in Australia, and your handle on Snapchat is String Story.
String Story. Yeah. I don't really respond to everyone else's, but because I'm there so early, this is actually an opportunity to connect with me the most.
That's fantastic. Thank you very, very much. If anybody wants to connect with me, my name is Michael Meier, Meier Real Estate, and my handle is Michael Meier NYC. Thank you once again so much. And I will be seeing you later on Snap and all those other places. And if everybody doesn't know or hasn't heard this is how I should have introduced it from the beginning. You are a geek from the future coming
that loves fried. Yeah. A geek of the future that loves fried chicken.
Bye.
Bye.